What is up, y'all? This is episode 24 and a half, I guess you could say. I am one of your hosts, the director of these fun and games, Adam Buckingham, alongside my best friend, the best stick handler in the business, Gary Seisel. How you doing today, Gary?
What's going on, everybody? I am doing quite well. Kind of tired, but not really tired at all, actually. I'm really pumped to get going here and kind of kill this shit. Let's do it.
You're a little more toned down from the previous intro we just did 20 seconds ago because I forgot to hit the record on your section. So,
yeah, that was unfortunate.
Yeah, sorry, you lost Gary's energy. But this is Two Jersey Kids. This is a video game podcast. We release 2 episodes each week. Our Tuesday episode is where we tell you all the games coming out this week. We release the list that we're reading off of on twojerseykids.com, so you can check out the full summaries and the gameplay links provided. But we're just going to go through the games and their titles, maybe highlight a few if we're interested in them as we roll through them rather rapidly. And then we break down, we talk about one topic that maybe is of your guys' interest or just our interest, because you can suggest these topics on Twitter if you follow us at 2JerseyKids, or email us 2JerseyKids@gmail.com. We would be happy to have them, wouldn't we, Gary?
Absolutely.
But before we get into that, Gary, what have you been up to real quick?
Well, it's been a lot of work recently. I've actually been in the middle of a 4-day swing here with work, but I've been playing some Battlefield with friends again, kind of late night, squad, kind of rolling through things, killing shit. But
same old with you?
Essentially, yeah, kind of just finishing up the latest run through of KOTOR 2, which has kind of been harder because it's kind of been taking longer than I thought it was going to, because I think, unfortunately, the problem with KOTOR 2 is towards the end, I think it kind of runs out of steam, especially the Xbox version without the restored content. Some of the the ending's just not as strong as it could have been. So getting through that, but other than that, it's just kind of been the usual week here.
You've had the full ending of the restored content, and now you just can't go back to the original.
Well, the problem is I can't play the goddamn restored version on my computer because it doesn't work anymore with Windows 10. It's so annoying. I keep trying
Windows 10.
Yeah, I'm trying to work all these little kinks out, but it's not. There hasn't been an update
for Windows specifically, Windows 10 for that restoration
mod? No, it's really strange. I mean, you have to try to work with the color settings and try to make it you can disable the movies in the game, and it's all I don't know. It's just really hard to get it to work. Yeah, they basically released a game, made people pay for it without actually guaranteeing that it was going to work in the first place. So kind of shitty. But anyway. That's enough of my sad stories. What have you been up to, sir?
I've been playing some more of that Earthblock Festival of Magic so I can finally do the review, which I feel like I've gotten to that point where I'm able to do the review. I've played it enough. I've gotten 15 hours into it. I feel like I'm close to the end, but I guess I'll talk about it more in the review. But I feel like I'm there. I can understand people that try to review games. It can be a little bit of hassle, especially when you're wearing down on playing one specific game when I want to be playing something else. No offense. I'll get into it in the review. But what are you saying?
Yeah, it was kind of intimidating doing the Flame in the Flood, to be honest. Just trying to get my thoughts together and then trying to record that one episode. At least even if it's 10 minutes, it's still kind of just you gotta get things going. Keep clicking, yeah. It's not that easy.
I mean, the really thing, it's not. These things aren't really that long when they're by ourselves because we're not really talking to each other.
Yeah,
so it's rather,
that's true too.
It's rather straightforward. I feel like my review probably 4 minutes at most. Get my thoughts out there and just let all the masses know. But other than that, I have been playing the For Honored closed or open beta over the weekend, which I'm sure you never got in because you're a lazy motherfucker.
No, I didn't have the time, actually, this time. I didn't have the time. It wasn't laziness. This time I actually didn't have the time. It's amazing.
I played it. I enjoy it. If I had the money, I would probably get it because it's really fun. I really enjoyed the combat. It's very simplistic with also a lot of slight subtleties with the combat that make it more dynamic. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's straightforward with you have the quick attack with R1, heavy attack with R2, you attack and defend on certain sides when you're in guard. It's very straightforward with that. But then there's also button combinations to do different strikes. I found the warrior that I've enjoyed the most. I forget what it's called, but it's the Quick Samurai. Really enjoying that. having some crazy battles, the crazy executions. It is the game, though, which I realize I enjoy them, but these games are a love-hate relationship. It's the games where you get absolutely pissed off is when you lose or when you die, because it's sometimes a little bit of bullshit. Like, for example, when you play in Call of Duty, just that used to infuriate me nonstop. Those games, that's when you know you love them. It's because it's right on that balance of love and hate that you get so angry. Or
yeah, well, I was going to say, like last night, for example, you're speaking of bullshit deaths. There's times where like I unload 3 shots into someone's torso and they just unload like a bullet hose on me and kill me. I'm like, oh yeah, you have the state of mind with 3 bullets in your chest to suddenly just turn around and just blow me away. Sure thing.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
There is some bullshit when it comes to For Honor. Sometimes it's just like you feel like you can't block worth a shit when they're coming at you. Because some people use some, because there's obviously in this game, there's going to be cheap tactics that, for me being a beginner, I don't know how to get around them yet. Because there seems like there's a counter to a lot of things. But there's some cheap tactics that people use, like running straight at you and guard breaking you right away, and then hitting you, then dashing back if they're real quick. There's some times where they just keep slashing at you, and no matter what you do, you feel like you're blocking the right direction, but it doesn't work out. I guess you're not going fast enough, not doing right. But there's also moments where I do that to somebody else, and I feel like an absolute badass, so, I mean, I guess it's even. But I've been really enjoying it. There are 3 game modes. There was a duel and a brawl. I never actually played duel and brawl. Duel is just 1-on-1. Brawl is 2-on-2. Then there's deathmatch. I think I was explaining to you. It's kind of like elimination style. 4-on-4, you start off against one another, basically, in a corner of a map, and then there's Dominion, where there's just, it's kind of MOBA-esque, where there's a big mob rushing to the middle control point, and then there's 2 control points off on the side, which you can go and capture, but no mob, like little, easy to kill NPCs run that direction. So, I mean, it's really a fun game. I highly suggest people, I would say check out the beta, but that's sort of ended now. So if you're interested in it, I'm sure you checked out the beta, and you're probably going to be buying For Honor. But if we had review copies, I would play it. But unfortunately, cash is a little thin at the moment. I like to use it for something else currently. But that is all I've been up to. Now let's go into the games releasing this week from February 13th to February 19th, shall we, Gary?
Do it.
Sorry, I felt like I was talking a lot, so I wanted to get you involved. February 13th all the way to February 19th, starting off on Tuesday, February 14th. Remember, you can find this list on twojerseykids.com. You click on the first one. It's the first one up there. It's pretty obvious. It's February 13th and 19th. Gives you all of the games releasing this week, what console, and the gameplay links provided. So it provides you with trailers to see what the game is all about, and summaries are provided. So starting off Tuesday, February 14th, you have Battle Island Commanders coming to Xbox One and PS4. You have Boar coming to PC. You have Bridge Constructor, which we've talked about before, coming to Vita. Love me some Bridge Constructor games. Fly Wench coming to PS4. Note, it was by the makers Nidhogg. It looks pretty fun. And then For Honor is coming to Xbox One, PS4, and PC. That is what I just was talking about, so rewind if you want to hear my thoughts. IO coming to PS4 and Vita with cross-buy. Monsters Love You coming to PS4. MX Nitro coming to PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Ride 2 coming to Xbox One and PS4. Then you have Semi-Spheres coming to PS4 and PC. Then you have Sniper Elite 4 coming to PC, PS4, and Xbox One. I wanted to ask you, Gary, did you ever have a Sniper Elite game? I feel like you did.
I've never played. No, I've kept tabs on the series. I've heard some good things about it, but I also feel like with the earlier iterations of the game, maybe the first one, the reviews weren't great. I couldn't. I don't want to get too deep into it, but yeah, I mean, it sounds like an interesting game that I would like, but I'd never played.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it seems rather cool. It seems, I don't know. I've never played the games. I thought you have. Moving on, Star Trek Online Agents of Yesterday come to PS4 and Xbox One. Then you also have Toy Odyssey, The Lost and Found come to PS4. I kind of find this fascinating, so I was going to read out the summary. Toy Odyssey is a Metroidvania-style action platformer that takes you back to a world made from the nightmares of your childhood. Join Brand, an action figure come to life, in his fight against the darkness to save his owner, Felix. Nightmares are only the start of his trouble. I thought this game actually looked really cool. Had a cool art style, Metroidvania. I love the action platform style games. Seems straightforward, kind of up my alley. Vertical Drop Heroes HD coming to Xbox One, PS4, Vita with cross-buy. Then we're going on to Wednesday, February 15th, where there's only one game. Skyride coming to PS4. Kind of a strange-looking game if you want to check it out on our website. The gameplay trailer is really strange. You're flying in like a airborne motorcycle, shooting at things. It's rather weird. Moving on to Thursday, February 16th, we have Arcade Neo... I guess that got... Neo Geo Turf Masters coming to PS4. Oh, Jesus. Starry Nights Helix coming to PS4. Yeah. Then moving on to February 17th, that is this Friday, Halo Wars 2 Definitive and Ultimate Edition Early Access is coming to PC and Xbox One. It's kind of a new thing now that Ultimate and Definitive Editions are releasing like a few days earlier. In this case, it's 4 days earlier compared to the Tuesday of next week, which is kind of strange. And finally, all the delicate duplicates coming to PC. So, out of those, Gary, did any of those hit your fancy?
Well, I will say this, I didn't get a chance to play the open beta, obviously, but For Honor would definitely stand out. It's definitely a game that I would enjoy. It's just one of those games that I think is really interesting to me. So I would go For Honor. I have to do a little more research on the game. It's not something that I've really looked into deeply, but I wouldn't be surprised if I buy that down the line when it comes out.
You would have to let me know when you buy it, because I would love to play. I would love to get it, but it seems like a game that would be kind of rough single player, because, it seems like something you would need a pack to join and fight. It would be a lot of fun if your team was actually legit. It would be kind of cool. For me, For Honor, obviously, I mentioned that I enjoyed it. Toy Odyssey also looked like really fascinating game. And then also Halo Wars 2. I wasn't a fan of the first original Halo Wars. It was I thought it was an average real-time strategy game. I was shocked that they're doing Halo Wars 2. It's been a while. There's not many real-time strategy games anymore out there, so it's kind of exciting for them giving it a shot. I don't know. I don't know. But, Gary, that has been the games for this week. We're going into our, I don't know what to call this segment, the Two Jersey Kids topic? I don't know.
Discussion topic. There you go. That's how you do it.
Brought to you by Gatorade. Not really. We're not sponsored by Gatorade.
One day that'll happen.
One day. Sorry, that's a tampon commercial. Sorry.
Okay, let's
moving on.
We're gonna move on. All right. This is getting terrible. Okay, so this topic this week is going to be, as I mentioned earlier on my Twitter page at RealScavenger18, is
way to plug
the
it.
Favorite. Indeed, is our favorite video game heroes and our most hated video game villains. So basically, we're only giving one per, maybe some honorable mentions mixed in there for the hell of it. But it's going to be a pretty straightforward discussion here. So do you want to start off with heroes or villains? I'm not sure which one you wanted to start off with.
I think we should start off with do the villain last, just because shockingly, we chose the same person, even though we didn't coordinate this ahead of time.
I have to be honest, I had a hunch that you were going to choose the same one, because I remember how much you and I used to talk about this particular individual and how much we actually hated him. So I wasn't too surprised, but anyway.
I think we should go with heroes because we have some differing opinions that we can discuss somewhat. You want me to go first?
Yeah, take the wheel. Do it.
There's obviously many heroes we can choose from. There's Mario. There's Link, the classic Nintendo characters. There's, I don't know, fucking Ash Ketchum from Pokemon, even though it's not really Ash, it's red or blue, or whichever one you want to choose. Then you have Master Chief. Someone chose that in this. That's not me. Sorry, spoilers alert. But, because he stole mine, because I was originally going to do that. Then I was thinking Commander Shepard, but that's not really a defined character, because Commander Shepard is a character of anyone's own choosing, so my Commander Shepard could be different than somebody else's, so on and so forth. And when I came to a hero that I kind of enjoyed, but also, I don't know, he just sticks in my mind, really, is Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War. He's not very a fleshed out hero, so to speak. He's very one note, doesn't have a lot of motion. He's kind of like, Kratos is another example of heroes that he's not my... I guess you said favorite. I don't know if he's my favorite, but I remember him a good amount. He's like the stereotypical hero. I don't know. He's the just heroes these days. Sorry, I didn't write these down in note form, so I'm going off my own noggin. So good luck to all y'all listening. But I mean, heroes, when you play in video games now, it seems like they're their own characters, the character that you make when a lot of open world games nowadays. But Marcus Phoenix was the most recent one I can remember, which is it was his own character. He's very bravado-ish. He was very angry. He was kind of badass. He seemed like he was calm, cool, collected, the anti-hero style. He had that cool bandana. Actually, the whole Gears of War hero squad I'm a fan of. I love me some Coltrane. The Coltrane coming through, that hits my heart because I remember playing them back when I was younger, playing online with those plethora of characters in co-op and going through the story, and I don't know. I was a fan. I don't know. That's what I came to when it comes to heroes. There's plenty more. I mean, you can go the typical routes of Mario. Mario's the pinnacle of heroes, saving the damsel in distress, which was Peach from Donkey Kong, and then Bowser. But yeah, Gary, let's move on to I know your hero. I sort of spoiled it already. I was going to go this route, but then you chose it, so I went a different route, shockingly, we both chose Xbox characters, funny enough.
Indeed. So basically, I'm going to start off by saying that I was very close to picking Revan, or Darth Revan, and the Exile from the KOTOR series, but I wanted to change it up considering I feel like I'm always talking about KOTOR in some shape or form in this podcast.
Way. So I'm shocked you didn't choose Nathan Drake either.
I would have chosen Nathan Drake, but we just talked about Uncharted recently, so I was like, shit, I really got to figure out something different here to bring to people.
You don't need to figure out something different. You need to figure out what's your favorite. That's how you have to.
I know.
You have to be realistic to all these people, man. You can't just go around spewing some bullshit about how you love Master Chief and you don't actually love Master Chief. You actually hate him.
Well, now that I hate you. You spoiled the damn thing twice. And first of all, this is the way I chose it. So I chose the Master Chief as my favorite video game hero because
solid choice.
He isn't necessarily my favorite, but he's the most. I would say he's the first hero that I really got introduced to, like first concrete hero that I can remember from my childhood. So basically, I chose the Master Chief. Obviously, with the original Halo games, like it was kind of the game that put Xbox on the map. So. And basically, Master Chief, I also, by the way, didn't write down. I wrote down like little notes here, but I'm also kind of going off my head for the most part. What were you saying?
Let's go. It's okay. We're unscripted. And I would like to note before all you hundreds of listeners out there that listen to this episode, I would like to note that we kind of contradicted ourselves when we said this is our topic of our favorite heroes, and then we both went on to contradict ourselves by saying, well, he's not really our favorite. He's just we remember him.
Well, it's, I mean, yeah.
Lara Croft is a good hero, too. I'm a fan of her in the newer games because I wasn't around to play the older games. But continue with Master Chief, I'm sorry.
You actually gave me time to kind of get my thoughts back together. So basically, I chose the Master Chief. He's obviously badass. He's fearless. He's just like the perfect, guy you need basically to kill a bunch of aliens and save the Earth. So I have like a distinct story, okay, that I remember from back in the day.
Oh, story time, folks.
It's actually like a year before I met you, but basically Halo 2 is like the most hyped I've ever been for any video game ever in my life. I'm telling you right now. It was like 2004. It was November 9th when that game came out. I still remember that date. Obviously, I wasn't old enough yet to actually buy that game, so I had to get my mother. I was one of those kids. I had to get my mother to run out to the game store to pick it up for me. She actually went the extra mile and didn't buy the basic game. She bought me the collector's edition with the metal case, which was awesome.
Oh, nice.
But that's essentially the story. But it's just I chose the Master Chief because he was such a memorable character, obviously, and it was just the first one that really could come to mind when in my early gaming career that really kind of like got me into that genre of games, I guess. So, Master Chief, yeah, Halo series.
We chose two very not very well-rounded characters, so to speak. Does that say a lot about ourselves that we're not well-rounded?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess they're both like kind of. You don't really get like a ton of.
Note. Exactly.
That's why, like, if we hadn't gone over the KOTOR and Uncharted and all that stuff so recently, I probably would have chosen that Revan or Exile, because they have such unbelievably deep backstories, especially the Exile. I was actually recently just reading through like all the backstory on the Exile from KOTOR 2. But here's the thing:
when it comes to video game characters, this is how I portrayed it as, or how I thought, which I mentioned already, is that in those characters or in those games, those open world, are those really a character, or they're your own character that these characters can mean a whole different thing for people, especially in KOTOR when you're the Exile or whoever, Revan. You could essentially be the villain in those games, right? True,
but what I'm saying is, like, regardless of what you do in that game, the backstory remains the same. Like, Revan's still Revan, even if you decide to become, a good guy in KOTOR 1, you still have that story of where you're the Dark Lord and you defeat the Mandalorians and, disappear into.
That's if you become a good guy. You may not become a good guy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Even if you become bring back, or not bring back, but retake the role of Sith Lord in KOTOR 1 as Revan, you still have that backstory regardless. And even as the Exile in KOTOR 2, you're still that, like, regardless of what you do in that game, past the beginning of that game, you still have that backstory where you were exiled from the Jedi Order because you went into the Mandalorian Wars against the Jedi Council's wishes and stuff like that. So
blah, 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 blah.
It's a little but it's different. It's different.
Yeah, but
you're not necessarily...
that's again going into the backstory of a character, not a hero per se, not a well-rounded hero, like with different levels. Which I feel, honestly, another hero, Nathan Drake, like we mentioned, is he one note? He kind of is. He's kind of just like the action pulp fiction.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean. Adventure, Indiana Jones style. Nothing phases him. He always saves the day. I don't know.
Yeah, they tried. Obviously, you get a little bit of you get a little more of a glimpse into who he is in like the last game. But yeah, pretty much the same guy throughout the entire series. But it works. Like, that's the thing. For certain games, I feel like certain characters work in that scenario. So,
another thing that I didn't even think of until right now is Joel and Ellie, are they technically heroes? They're the protagonists of a story, but they're not the heroes per se.
I actually wanted to mention that too. When I sent you that, I actually texted you the other night. I'm not sure if I wrote it down in the text or not, but basically, I was going to say your favorite hero or protagonist, because obviously, in some ways, the Exile isn't necessarily it.
Yeah, exactly. It's how you portray, I guess, a certain character, because Joel could, in your eyes, be the hero at the end of that story, or he could be kind of a dick, or you can just see yourself as that character, and he's the protagonist that you're following. You can understand his decision, may not completely holistically agree with it, but if you're in that situation, you probably do the same thing. So is he a hero? But a protagonist and hero are kind of a different thing, I guess you could say. Most of the time, the protagonist is the hero.
Basically the main character, essentially.
But shall we move on to the villain that we both agreed on, shockingly, but not really shocking. I had a feeling you were going to choose it too, but I want to get into the honorable mention because I feel like you may have something to say about this.
Sure.
I saw when we were doing the villain, I kind of wanted to get some inspiration. I was looking up top characters, and that's when this character came to mind because he wasn't on the list for some fucking reason. But I saw that the elusive man from Mass Effect was on there, and I kind of have to give it up to the elusive man. He wasn't really he was an antagonist, I guess, that you were going against. I don't know. I kind of when they pointed him out, I'm like, oh, I do remember him. He was one of the main draws of Mass Effect. I remember seeing him on previews or trailers or preview posters. I don't know. Do you remember the elusive man at all, Gary?
Absolutely. I played that series God knows how many times with my friends. But the Illusive Man was great. Just a tremendous character. That actually, I also remember from the third game. Is it Kai Lang? He's that like kind of his assassin, like his right hand man. I believe that's his name. But I hated him as well.
Man, so. That's impressive. You can remember all this stuff, man. You got a hard time remembering my lunch. I don't know.
I actually am kind of surprised I remembered that. He's myself.
I'm trying to look at. Oh, I remember him. Fucking piece of shit.
I hated that guy.
Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
it was like
he's
so
one
of those guys that like
annoying.
Well, he was one of those guys where like you could just never. Well, he kind of plays into what our actual choices for this category, but he's one of those guys that's always a step ahead. Like you think you have him, and then he squeaks out, and then you can't get him.
Yeah.
So.
But the Elusive Man, he's the kind of a villain that you hate just because you never get a chance until later on to do anything about it. He's always in the background, always the big shot behind the screen doing things, yet you still don't have an opportunity until I think later on you get to talk to him. I don't know. I don't remember how everything could play out, but you know.
Yep.
It just
you get to
you
come face to face with him in the end.
He's the villain that is who feels that he's right at the end of the day.
Yep. What?
Sorry.
I was going to say I had some honorable mentions myself, but you could continue.
No, go. You have honorable mentions.
All right.
You didn't tell me, Gary. I didn't know.
I kind of went off the cuff here, but Andrew Ryan.
We are technically. One of them. Oh yeah, I'm shocked you didn't actually choose him. Now that I think about it, BioShock.
Yeah. I didn't think about it until right now. I was looking up my game wall. I should do that more often. Actually, is look up in the wall of games I have here and actually choose logically.
Ones you've actually played.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? It would make sense. But Andrew Ryan for sure. He's just such a. I mean, that whole game's so awesome and fucked up, and he's just such a crazy kind of character. And some of the stuff he says does make sense. It does, but he's also kind of insane. The last guy really that I have for the honorable mention is the Lord of Pain, Darth Sion from KOTOR 2 as well.
Really?
I could have chosen. Yeah, honestly, he's just like. I remember being a kid and playing that game and being honestly really creeped out by him because he's like
the first
basically
time
a walking zombie.
I remember playing the first time you see him, I was like, I need to get the fuck out of this spaceship right now. I thought he was going to come out of the screen and murder me.
Exactly. And that's the thing. The story behind his whole thing is really cool too, how he basically his body is like shattered into millions of pieces, but he holds himself together through the hatred he has for everybody that he's trying to kill, which are the Jedi, obviously.
Seems logical.
It's awesome. It really is awesome. I wish I was him. Not really.
# Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm sorry that whoever doesn't like Star Wars, I'm sorry, but I do. So get over it. Shall we get into the actual main villain that we kind of came here to talk about?
See, the thing about this villain is that he was so. He how do I put it? He annoyed you, but yet he was so charismatic in what he was doing. He was very charismatic, but yet psychotic villain. You hated him, but also respected him at the same time because he was always one step ahead of you. That's how I kind of think of him. He was fucking insane. That's all I have to say.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember playing this game. I remember you telling me actually when you let me borrow this game and play it. You told me that you're going to absolutely hate this guy, and he's going to drive you crazy. You're going to actually in real life want to kill this guy. And yeah, sure enough, it was pretty intense.
And if you guys wanted to know, because we're keeping you at the edge of the seat, we chose not thinking this together, just out of the blue, us coming together, just not even talking beforehand. I don't know what I'm saying right now. Is Voss from Far Cry 3. I was going to try to say his last name, but nah.
Montenegro.
Nice. You do it. Way to be, Gary. That's why I have you here. But I found this from it's called the villains.wiki. I don't know where else I got it, but I thought it summed up pretty well. What is known about Voss's personality comes from his close and dangerous encounters with the main protagonist. Close observations show that he's a reckless, violent, sadistic, brutal, unpredictable, cynical psychopath, insane, extremely prideful, and remorseful pirate lord with a dark sense of humor and a frighteningly violent personality who is feared even by his own men, some of whom are as chaotic and psychotic as Voss. Despite being more crazier and mentally unstable than the other antagonists, he was a charismatic and masculine leader.
I couldn't agree more with that. And honestly, that was the thing. Like, I remember I got Far Cry 4, and I played, I thought that game was really good too, but at the same time, like, they just didn't have the same villain, the same psychotic, crazy guy that you wanted to hate. Like, what the hell's that guy's name in Far Cry 4? I can't even remember it now.
I'll look it up. Keep going.
What's that guy's name? Why can't I remember it now? Damn it. Well, anyway, I couldn't hate that guy.
You motherfucker.
I couldn't hate that guy in Far Cry 4
Pagan
because
Ming.
he was just pagan. There you go. I couldn't hate him in that game because he was funny and like somewhat likable. I just couldn't do it. But in this game, I mean, with Voss, he's so hateable from the very beginning with killing your brother and
he drew the line between he was, I don't want to say likable, but he was very charismatic, but he was also so psychotic and sadistic that you just wanted to kill him because he was always one fucking step ahead of you. Somehow, some way, he was always one step ahead of you, and I never knew why.
I remember this now. I'm getting like flashbacks. Remember when you set that trap for him? I think it's at a gas station or something like that, and you set explosives, and you think you have him beat. You blow up the whole place. You get down there, and you think he's dead, and all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere. I think he kicks you in a hole or something like that, and runs off again. That shit that drove me insane in this game. But I have to say, they built him up so much and they made you hate him so much. But I feel like in the end, with the death scene or the fight scene you have, I just feel like it didn't do it justice. I'm not sure if you felt the same way, but I was actually rewatching the death scene. It was kind of like
I'm doing that right now.
Psychedelic.
Yeah,
it's like psychedelic dream state.
Far Cry 3 did a lot with the psychedelic. That was the one thing that I had issues with Far Cry 3 is the two main final scenes where you're killing the two antagonists, which, shocking to me in this game, I didn't expect there would be two antagonists. Voss being on the main cover, I thought he was going to be the bad guy for the whole length of it. I just felt like the killing scenes at the end didn't do it justice because it wasn't realistic. You were just tripped up on acid and somehow made it to the end where you did kill him, which made literally no sense. Right now, seeing this scene, I kind of just picture, what was the main protagonist named? Jason, I believe? I feel like he's just on acid just going around shooting in the air, screaming like crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. It has to be so hard. I was thinking about this too, is that it has to be so hard as a game developer to figure out a way to kill off your main villain or main character, because just try to figure out how to do it justice, and like in this case I just feel like you're basically like just hitting buttons at certain times and trying to kill kill Voss in this sense, but it just doesn't feel satisfying in the end. And it's so hard, I think, in like especially first person shooters, it's really hard to do that, because like what are you going to do? You're going to fight Voss and you're going to like shoot him like 1,000 times. He's going to live and then like suddenly he dies. Like, it's stupid. It's got to be really hard in those types of games.
Yeah, because everything in first person shooters are basically final. When you shoot somebody, they're supposed to be human, so they drop dead. I mean, the only way you could do, I guess, a boss fight in a shooter is have them absorb like superhuman strength. Like, what was it, Uncharted 1? The main villain,
the second one where he drinks from the fountain of youth, or the tree of life, where the hell it is.
I thought that was the first one where he was like hopped up on something like blue things. It was running around.
No, that's the second one. That's Lazarevich. Yeah, I almost forgot that guy's name, but yeah, he's crazy in the second one. He just goes like he drinks from that tree sap. And gets like superhuman strength and speed, and he's running all over the place, screaming Drake all the time.
But
it's pretty funny.
That's the point. Is how do you make, especially like action shooters, either first person or third person? How do you have a villain that cannot be just taken down with one bullet? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what the solution of that. You can do the Call of Duty route when they're like crazy cinematic cutscenes, where you finally take them out in a badass way. Do you just have it where it's just like button mashing, button time thing? I mean,
that's the thing. A lot of people criticize that type of gameplay too, like the cutscenes where you're just hitting certain buttons at certain times. Like I remember that was a big problem a lot of people had with the game Heavy Rain. If anyone played that, a lot of the cutscenes in that game were like you got to hit like certain buttons really quick, and you got to be like on top of your game, otherwise you miss a punch or get punched. So I don't know how you do that. It's got to be really hard to do.
Like, do you go Uncharted 4 route where you do a whole new mechanic right at the end of the game for a boss fight?
Oh, that was so annoying. I will say that right now. That was such a pain in the ass. I'm so happy I didn't play that in the hard difficulty because I would have probably broken something.
It was frustrating because I got through the portion of when the beginning part was like really easy. I was like doing it fine. I'm like, this is okay. And then when I forget his name, he goes fucking psycho and starts attacking you like crazy. It's so difficult, but that's neither here nor there. We're back to Voss. There's also I think the voice actor that plays Voss took part in some Far Cry prequel to the actual Far Cry 3. Kind of a video short on YouTube with the guy that played McLovin in Superbad. Is that Superbad? Is that what it's called? I can't remember. With Jonah Hill? No?
Yeah, I think
Gary, do you not know movies?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't even... I can't really remember myself.
I think it's
Who the hell
Superbad.
knows? I know who it is,
Gary.
but yeah.
Oh, why are you here? But yeah, there's a short where it
help you pronounce things.
Goes more into Voss's character, and he's just as psychotic and crazy, where he has he ends up having the final character. He like buries him kind of alive, but his head is sticking out, and he does like crazy things with him, and it's really weird and strange and effed up. But that's an achievement in the game. Funny enough, you can go to and find the cover of the game in the game. Kind of cool.
Really?
With the head sticking out and everything. Bodies.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can. It's an achievement or trophy, whatever. Well, we're running out of steam on this topic right now. So, anything to say before we go, Gary?
No, I'm actually I'm pretty spent on this topic. But next week, well, I haven't really thought too much about the topic for next week, but it's going to be something very enlightening for all you people out there.
It's going to be the best.
It's been real, folks. I know we're coming back on Friday with the news, so I'll be ready to go for that as well. So it's been great. Keep downloading, keep listening, and I'll catch you on Friday.
I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. We try to keep our opinions concise, even though we ramble from time to time, because this is an unscripted video game podcast. If you didn't know, this is Two Jersey Kids. We release 2 episodes each week. The Friday one should be coming to your ear holes rather soon. It's coming to you on Friday, obviously, because it's the Friday episode. It's as soon as Friday gets here. That's basically it. That's basically all. That's, yeah. But you can follow the podcast on Twitter at Two Jersey Kids. You can follow Gary at RealScavenger18 and me, since I never plug myself, at Adam J. Buckingham. It's very straightforward, easy to follow. You'll find it if you want to. Remember, if you're a new listener and for some reason love this podcast now after hearing this ramble shack of an episode, please hit that subscribe button and also give us a rating on iTunes. That'd be very helpful. Or rating on any podcast app service that you use. We really appreciate all you guys for listening, all you continued listeners. You can tweet us questions that you want us to, or topics that you want us to discuss on this podcast. Fuck! I forgot to answer, say the one question that was sent in, and I meant to do it at the beginning, and then I lost it. I'm going to do it now. You know what? This is an added segment. I'm sorry. This is from Aaron, directed at Gary. He said, I have a question for Gary. I wanted to know how to grow such an epic beard, and what products does he use to grow such a fierce beard? This shit is straight A1 and on point. Soon, I believe he will be in a commercial promoting Gillette. Sauce toss that boy. What a question. First question submitted on twojerseykids.com. How do you feel about that, Gary? How do you grow your beard?
Well, it's partly genetics. Actually, it's completely genetics. But you know, I got some. I've had some products. Yeah, the beard oils and stuff like that.
Cocoa butter.
You know the deal.
Is that cocoa butter, or it's? I think it's like a mix of that for your.
I couldn't even tell you.
For your beard, so it doesn't get all greasy and nasty. You
know?
Yeah,
I don't know. Well, I know they have like stuff to make your beard softer, but anyway,
ladies, he's single.
That's basically it. I appreciate the compliment, Ron. By the way, thanks for the name. That's fantastic. But yeah, that's the beard tips there of the week from G Sizzle.
Well, this has been Two Dirty Kids. You got an extra question for this episode just because I forgot to do it at the beginning because I kind of suck. But this has been Two Dirty Kids. Remember, we do love you so much. There's a Friday episode coming. This is the Tuesday episode. Have a good one, Gary. Say bye.
Later.
We're heading out, y'all. Keep playing those games until Friday. Have a good one. Bye.